Changing a set of guitar strings is something that every guitarist should learn how to do quite early on. And I say this because if you're learning to play the guitar and you snap a string accidentally and you don't know how to fix it yourself, you could end up having to wait up to a week or even more to get somebody that you know to fix it for you. That week could usually be used to learn your new favourite song or generally just better your guitar playing skills, and it's now wasted with a guitar that you can't play. It's got broken strings, you can't play it. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to change a set of steel-strung acoustic strings. Now, these methods can be used to change virtually any type of guitar strings, but it might vary a little bit depending on the guitar you've got. For example, certain electric guitars are strung through the body, or through the bridge itself. Generally speaking, the differences are around the bridge area of the guitar. If you've got a locking tremolo system, for example, that's a whole different ball game. I haven't got a guitar that's got a locking trem, so I can't teach you how to do that. But as I said, these methods should work more or less for any type of guitar, but specifically it's for a steel-strung acoustic guitar. So let's get started. Aside from changing the strings on my guitar today, I'm also going to be giving it a clean with this guitar maintenance kit from Dunlop. To follow along, you'll also need wire cutters, this cloth which came with the Dunlop maintenance kit, this fret polisher, also included in the Dunlop kit, and of course a new set of strings. I'm using these gauge 13 phosphor bronze nano web coated strings from Elixir. So the first thing we're going to need to do is remove the old set of strings. Simply tune each string down so that it goes slack enough to be able to unwind from the tuning peg. Some people like to slacken the string off and then cut it in half with wire cutters. You can do this, but I prefer to leave the string whole so that there's less rubbish to find afterwards. Once you've taken the first string off, move it to one side and repeat this step for the rest of the strings. Now we need to remove the pegs which are holding the string in place at the guitar's bridge. I like to try doing this with my fingers before using any tools. As you can see, the first one of these is too tight, so I'm going to carefully use my pliers to pull up on the peg. If you need to use pliers, be very careful not to slip and damage the bridge. Keep the pegs in a safe place, as if one falls on the floor and you lose it, you'll have to wait until you can buy new ones before playing your guitar again. Now you have all of the pegs removed, you can pull the old strings out of the bridge and discard them once you've safely wrapped them up. The first step I take when cleaning my guitar is to use the bottle labelled fingerboard cleaner and prep. Spray between 5 and 8 times onto the cloth, not directly onto the guitar, and then apply to the fingerboard. You can apply some pressure, but I tend not to press too hard. Once you've evenly applied the product, you can use a fresh piece of cloth to wipe it off. The next bottle we need is the one labelled Fingerboard Deep Conditioner. Remove the lid and press the fluffy applicator on the top of the bottle onto the fingerboard. Rub the bottle in between each fret, making sure that you get an even application, and let it soak in for a minute or two. Once you're satisfied that you've let the conditioner soak into the wood, you can remove any excess using the cloth used in the previous step. Okay, that looks good to me. The next step is to polish the frets using this small cloth which is included in the Dunlop maintenance kit. This step is very important as it can make the guitar feel like a completely different instrument. Simply wrap the cloth over the tips of your fingers and smoothly rub each fret, removing any tarnishes. This step can vary in time depending on how grubby your frets are. Now we've serviced the guitar's fingerboard and neck, we can move on to the body. You'll need your guitar polish for this step. Like step 1, we apply the product to the cloth, not the guitar's body. You can then just polish away until you're happy with the results. The last bottle we'll use is called Cream of Carnauba. Now this isn't something I always use as I'm not 100% sure if it's too important. It does smell good though. Apply a £1 coin sized dollop of the product to the cloth and begin to work into the guitar's body. This step shouldn't take more than a minute or so. Okay, so next up you're going to want your strings. Now typically you can find information on the box which will tell you which string goes where, like I'm pointing out now. But if you can't find it, don't worry too much as it's fairly self-explanatory. You can see the numbers on each individual packet. These denote how thick the string is. The higher the number, the heavier the string. I start with the 56, which in my case is my bottom E or thickest string. Remove the string from its packet and unravel it. You then need to push the ball end of the string into the first hole of the bridge. Next, push the bridge pin into place and pull sharply up on the string, and you should feel it snap into place. The next job is to push the other end of the string through the tuning peg of the guitar and pulling it through so you have around 6 cm of give. You can then kink the string around the tuning peg to help it stay in place whilst you turn the tuner. At this step it's very important not to pull the string through too much because otherwise you'll end up with not enough winds around the peg and the string could slip through, sending your guitar out of tune. This isn't too much of a worry with the fatter wound strings, but when we get to the thinner strings you'll see that they are much smoother, which means they can't grip quite so well. Repeat these steps for each string, remembering to leave slightly more excess string on the thinner strings. Another thing I should mention is that the winds around the tuning peg should go downwards towards the neck, not up and away from it. This ensures that there's enough tension pulling the string down and around the nut. Once you've completed these steps for each of the 6 strings, there's just one final step before tuning, and that is clipping the excess string. Using your wire cutters, snip the string as close as you can to each tuning peg and dispose of the rubbish safely, and you should be ready to go. So that's pretty much it, apart from one last little step, which is something that I do every single time I change my guitar strings, and that is to stretch the strings as I'm tuning it. So, as I'm tuning each string, I'll give the string a stretch like that, just to make sure that the guitar doesn't go out of tune. If you don't do this step, the guitar will keep going out of tune for probably half a day. But eventually they'll stretch out and they'll be fine, you'll just have to keep tuning it up. But if you do stretch the strings as you're tuning it up, just 2 or 3 times like that. If you do that, then it shouldn't go out of tune quite so much. So just repeat that for each string and you should be fine. That's pretty much all for this video. I hope you found it intuitive or helpful in any way. If you think that anybody else will find it helpful, please do share it and let them know about my channel. I do intend to do more of these videos, and as you can tell, I am still a very new channel. Shut up! Go in there! My dog is doing my head in. Please do share the video if you think anybody else will find it useful. As you know, I'm still a very new channel and I intend to keep doing videos like this in order to help people out. Subscribe if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button if you've liked the video, and leave comments below letting me know what you'd like to see from the channel, or any tips or anything that I've done wrong, anything that I've done right. All is very much appreciated. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.